Happy Tuesday to all you beautiful radio listeners. Thank you for dropping in on our happy hour with Joe Fisher here today, not Luke Anderson. We have started something fun for this week because he will be out the whole entire week. You can contribute to this show, 503-864-6326, by letting us know where you think Luke Anderson is on his vacation. Got one yesterday that said he was on the Artemis T2 circling the moon. That'd be cool. I'm sure that'd be probably a spendy vacation, but still pretty cool.
I mentioned that he was working with Mike Rowe on the latest episode of Dirty Jobs.
There you go. There's another one. So yeah, if you, honestly, the more far-fetched and more ridiculous, please text those in, 503-864-6326, or you could use the YouTube chat, Casey? Yes? Question mark? I get a thumbs up. So
we are live on YouTube today.
If you're watching us on YouTube, I do have a hand gesture for you all out there. The best hand gesture of all. Some say I have the best hands. I know more about hands than anybody. That's what people are saying. A lot of people are saying. But you are listening to the Happy Hour on the Fan Sports Network. Welcome in. 105.1 FM, 1080 AM. The Odyssey app, odyssey.com, and you can get any of our shows via podcast or on YouTube. And again, use the text line today, 503-864-6326 is the phone number. Casey, glad to be in here with you today. I have a question for you and the listening audience before we get going here. And I can't remember who I was talking to about this the other day. As we know, being in sports world, a lot of gambling. A lot of gambling out there. A lot of gambling advertising. A lot of people placing bets. There might be some people on this very station with a gambling addiction. Jason Zucanic. But, as Casey raises his hand, I had a thought the other day, because you hear about the stories of gambling addiction. I think it was to my girlfriend. She was sharing me a story about someone she knows whose husband or something was gambling for years, didn't tell the wife, thousands of dollars in debt, right? That's usually how those stories go. Like, I have a problem. I need help. We're down $50K. I'm sorry. Don't divorce me.
The problem's only going to get worse before it gets better.
Right. Has there ever been in the history of sports gambling or gambling in general, has a husband ever come to his wife and been like, honey, I'm sorry to say this, I have a gambling addiction. She's like, oh my God, how much have we lost? And he's like, oh, no, I'm up $100K on the year.
We're up a lot, actually.
Oh, I've been crushing it, but I just can't stop. That's all I think about. What bets? I'm doing research all the time. It's consuming our life, my life. I can't give you the attention. Well, does the wife go, well, just keep at it, babe.
I think the wife gets in on the fun, and then now the husband's winnings are paying for the wife's losses.
I would just see, to me, and then I started thinking about it, I was like, well, I don't know if any of these people actually have a gambling addiction. They have a losing addiction. They just lose too much is what it is.
They're just unlucky.
Yeah, they have an unlucky addiction is what it is. But I thought about it, I was like, has there ever been anyone in the history of gambling that was up a significant amount and they had to go to their family and be like, you guys, I got to stop.
It's like saying that gambling's only an addiction if you're doing it poorly.
Yeah, that's how it kind of comes across, right? I want that one case study. I want that one 60 Minutes 2020 news story about the guy who did so well in gambling that it made him so addicted to it to where he had to stop because he was winning too much. Which, again, saying that out loud, I don't think that's ever happened in the history of history.
Quick Google search. I'm going to have to go down a rabbit hole to find this story.
I think there has to be, a lot of research done on this. A lot of journals, scientific journals, hours spent in a library somewhere poring over records and archives to see in the recorded history of gambling.
See, now that I'm going deeper in the search, all I'm getting is just more recommendations to make the phone call.
Yeah, I was going to say, as soon as you Google that, you're getting someone, or you're getting the prompt, if you have a problem with gambling, please call.
Do you need help?
No, I don't need help. Again, I'm crushing it. I need help stopping. I need help stopping winning so much. I thought about that recently. I was like, man, what a life. If you're that good at gambling, you just become a bookie, or you become one of the guys with the phone numbers. Call my number, 1-800-JOE-FISH.
The Matthew McConaughey in Two for the Money.
First pick's free. It's an automatic lock. Baltimore, Chicago, I love the action today. I love always their enticing ways to get you to call. They're very vague statements about games that are on that day. Like, again, Baltimore and Orioles, my Orioles, taking on the White Sox right now. It's never on the commercials, I love Baltimore covering the money line tonight. It's always Baltimore, Chicago, I absolutely love it. And you're like, what? I must know. Call my number. You'll get the rest for free. Yeah, I just don't think that's ever happened. I don't think there's ever been anybody that crushed it so much in gambling and they were addicted to gambling to where they ended up having to go to their wife, significant other, whatever, and be like, honey, I'm doing great. I can't. I got to stop.
I don't even think that's a problem. How can you call that a problem?
Well,
I just have this
like
scenario.
Yeah, this hypothetical scenario that's probably never happened before. But again, I'm thinking like, what if you were just so good at gambling that you are gambling all the time and it's taking you away from like, I don't know, helping with chores around the house, being a good dad or something like that. Like, hey, can you take the kids out to the park? Sorry, working on this parlay right now.
Sorry, I'm in the fourth quarter of some action right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I told you to take the kids to the park. Hey, that 6-leg parlay hit though. Fine. Okay. Again, I don't think it's ever happened. If maybe someone's out there, if you're listening right now and you had a gambling addiction and you were up, text into the program, 503-864-6326. But yeah, I just don't think that's possible. I think that's a losing addiction is what that is. This is a great PSA right now.
100%.
Yeah.
You don't have a problem if you're winning. If you're losing, then that's your problem.
Well, glad to be back in the saddle again here. It is Tuesday, April 7th. We are fresh off of a new national champion in college basketball. We had some Blazers action last night. We are thick in the throes of baseball. Gosh, I mean, it's kind of that the Tuesday wind down. You get that Monday high of all the stuff that happened over the weekend in sports, and then you get the come down Monday night, Tuesday morning. You're like, okay, all right. So what else is going around in the sports world? And there's some things going on. Speaking of which, did you know, Casey, that Giannis and the Milwaukee Bucks don't like each other?
Really?
And Giannis wants to get traded? Oh my God.
Who knew?
What? Who knew? Well, it was literally as of like, I think it's still on there. Yeah, so it's a top story on the NBA page on ESPN, but Shams Charania basically what he did was took all of his tweets over the last year and a half about Giannis and the whole trade fiasco and just wrote an article about it. There were a couple new things in here about like Giannis missing out on his bonus with Nike because of him not playing more than 41 games. There was a story in here about Doc Rivers calling a meeting with the team in early March after they had lost to Chicago, like really bad. It was a double-digit lead that they then blew in a road loss to Chicago, and Doc Rivers called for a team meeting after that one. And they go into the locker room, and Doc Rivers, he basically told the players to look up his resume. Basically saying, do you have one of these NBA championship rings? Which Bobby Portis and Giannis Antetokounmpo went, yes.
They do.
Yeah, we do actually have one of those. But, yeah, he started the meeting by imploring his players to look up his resume. 6 people in the room told ESPN. So you know that actually happened if 6 people told ESPN separately, like, oh, yeah, he definitely did that.
He tried to pull the Kurt Signetti, but people are a lot more familiar with Doc's resume than Kurt Signetti's.
Yeah, he did Google me, I win, in 2008.
And everyone said,
do you? He said to players in the session, I took teams to the playoffs and to the championship that weren't supposed to. I thought this was one of them. Either you're with us or against us. If you're not playing hard, we're not playing you anymore. I know everything that goes on in this building. This is what Doc Rivers said to the players, apparently. When reached for comment from ESPN, Doc Rivers had nothing to share or add to this. But the other part from this article that cracked me up is after a loss to the Hawks on March 4th, so just over a month ago, I mean, at that point, we're what, 55 games into the season, somewhere around there. Giannis said to sideline reporter for ESPN, Vanessa Richardson, something feels off about this season. You're saying that in March 4th? Like, usually you should probably have that diagnosed in like December.
It's a little early, pal.
Yeah. You're like 60 games into one of the worst seasons you've had in years.
And I love Doc Rivers going, Google me, I win championships. You won with Paul Pierce, Ray Allen, and Kevin Garnett. The start of the big three.
And Kendrick Perkins. Big perk, baby. That's right. Carry the hell on. Rajon Rondo as well. There's just a couple blurbs from this article there's nothing surprising in there. Giannis wants a trade. He says that he wants to play, but the Bucks don't want him to. The Bucks say they want to play him, but he doesn't want to participate in scrimmages. It's a back and forth, he said, she said. All I'm hoping for at this point is that Giannis ends up getting traded in the offseason. He's not coming to the Blazers, so, scratch that. If he gets traded,
can only hope. If
he gets traded, man, this is going to the timing on these draft picks for Milwaukee in this Dame trade, this might work out perfectly, because as I was reading this article, I'm like, dude, the Bucks are screwed. This is them going in a downward spiral and being a trash team for like the next 5 seasons after they get rid of Giannis. And with, I believe, the 2027 first round pick of the Bucks, 2029 and 2031 first round picks with some first round swaps as well. Casey, I know, is Googling feverishly to get me the years.
2028 first round pick swap, 2029 first round pick, and a 2030 first round pick swap.
Gotcha. Okay, so pick swaps and then one legitimate first round pick belongs to there. Okay, so 28, 29, and 30. I thought it started in 27 is when those picks happened, but I'm all for it, dude. Milwaukee circling the toilet, going down the drain, just in time for these draft picks to actually be worth something. I am of the camp that I do not want to give Giannis. I don't want to give Milwaukee their picks back to get Giannis. I want those picks. Giannis, he's had 5 injuries this year. There's part of me that's almost kind of nervous about getting Giannis at age 31, 32 after having 5 injuries this year.
But he still wants to play. So if he's still able to play this year, but Milwaukee's just shutting him down because he's an asset that they want to make sure that they can use in the offseason, Giannis is still Giannis.
Well, in that article, they talk about how the league did an investigation to the team about tanking and not playing Giannis when they probably could, and the league basically found that the Bucks scheduled Giannis to work out in 3-on-3 scrimmages as part of his return to play process, but he declined to participate. There is a disagreement as to whether the team requested that Giannis participate in a group workout earlier this week, and the league is continuing to monitor the situation. So basically, it's like Giannis is like, I want to play. And the Bucks are like, we want you to play. Can you scrimmage for us first? And Giannis is like, well, no.
Well,
just
why
play
would
me.
I 3-on-3 scrimmage? Just play me.
Just play me. Is kind of how it's coming across. But the whole article, it's the end. Like, he might try to play the final home game for the Bucks, but whatever. He's done in Milwaukee. Doc should be done in Milwaukee. What you've seen just from his tenure there, I believe 95 and 100 since he has joined the Bucks as head coach, taking over Adrian Griffin. Remember that whole saga? It's not good. It's not good. It hasn't been good. It's not good. It's not going to get any better. So Giannis, he's obviously going to get moved in the offseason here, because I don't know how an article comes out like this and then you're able to rectify everything. But so yeah, that was kind of the big, like I said, Shams just put together all the tweets he had on Giannis for the last year and a half and added a couple things to it. So
yeah, nothing breaking, just more of qualifying.
No, I just found it funny that Doc Rivers pulled the Google me and said, look up my resume after that meeting, because in that meeting he apparently singled out a couple players. I think Kevin Porter Jr. was one of them. So after that meeting, the Bucks had a players meeting, and Kyle Kuzma basically told Kevin Porter and someone else, is it Ryan Rollins on the team, I believe, one of their younger guys? He basically told them, yeah, don't listen to Coach. Don't take what he says at heart. It's fine. Don't worry about it. And Kuzma immediately did not play the next game because of Coach's decision. So you have the coach trying to flex on his players, and then you have one of the players telling his teammates, don't worry about what coach has to say. And then he gets benched. Giannis is doing his own thing. It just a complete mess that is timing out perfectly for these Blazers draft picks in a couple of years. Love it. Absolutely love it.
Gotta love it.
And was I right on that? Was it Ryan? Is it Ryan Rollins?
Ryan Rollins out of Toledo.
Gotcha, yeah. Bucks are hyped on him to the point where they didn't want him involved in some packages like last year or something like that. So they're high on him. But Giannis' situation is a mess. It's not going to get any better, so get ready for more rumors and blurbs in the offseason. But we have other news today to get to. We also have some play-by-playback to get to. But next here on Happy Hour with Joe Fish, Sans, Luke Harrison, is time for the Daily Buzz. We do that next here on the Fan Sports Network. No Luke Anderson this week. Joe Fisher III, host of Sports Saturday, here with you today and the rest of the week. And you can catch us on Saturday, 9 to 11 o'clock, Sports Saturday. Me and Rashad Taylor. Someone on the text line, 503-864-6326. Luke is at Senegal Island. He has joined the native tribe. Now, that'd be something. Just the complexion difference between what's going on Senegal Island and Luke.
Staunch difference.
Oh, that is Tuk Tuk over there. That is, and that's just Luke. That's what we call him. We got to find a cool tribal name for Luke at Senegal Island. Someone on the YouTube chat says, I don't have a gambling problem, and I'm willing to bet any amount on it. I like that. It's like the Dumb and Dumber, how much you want to bet I can get you gambling by the end of the day? What odds you giving me? 5-1?
Deal.
Deal. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do it. All right, it is time for The Buzz. And we have to start with our Portland Trailblazers. What a game last night! Until it wasn't a game because the Blazers choked away a fourth quarter lead to the Denver Nuggets. They ended up tying it, going to overtime. The Nuggets win the overtime by 5, which brings the final score to 137 to 132. I was watching the championship game, national championship game, sitting in my car, listening to the Blazers as well, and finished up the championship game. I'm like, all right, let's go. We're done there. UConn loses, which made me happy. I'm like, perfect. 1 for 1. Let's go 2 for 2, and let's get this dub, Blazers. And at that point, I'm not even kidding you. I think that is when they had their 16-point lead in the fourth quarter, was when the national championship game ended. And I was like, all right, sweet. Let's go. Let's wrap this Blazers game up and call it a night, huh? Well, yeah, the Blazers were up 115-99 and ended up losing. 115-99 with 8.5 left to go in the game. And slowly but surely, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray, and the Nuggets chip away to, again, tie it, send it to overtime. Quite possibly could have been their best win of the season, but as their season has gone, they have no idea what the hell to do in the last 5 to 10 minutes of a fourth quarter in not even close games. Again, they were up by 16 and they still lost this one. If there's one thing that's going to be an indictment on Tiago Splitter as far as him in that interview room with Mr. Dundon is
putting games to bed.
Yeah, multiple times this year where they have been either close game, Blazers in the lead, maybe a couple points behind, or in the lead by double digits like they were last night, and they blow it, or they just don't show up in the last 4 minutes, or they miss free throws, or someone gets injured. It's just always something. And to me, it kind of just seems like their offense is Denny, just bowling ball your way into the lane like you've been doing the last 3.5 quarters, and let's hope that still works.
And 2, keep chucking up threes.
Yeah, it was tough. On a night that the Blazers, I believe, set a franchise record in three-pointers made in a single game, that's what ended up happening. The one bright spot that I will say is Toumani Camara on an absolute tear right now shooting the ball. His last 11 games, he's averaging like almost 20 points a game, over 50% shooting from 3 points, so...
Yeah, he had 8 3-pointers last night.
If you want to polish the turd, if you want to find the the silver lining on this bad loss to the Nuggets last night, it's that Toumani Camara has been playing some very, very good offensive basketball. The Buzz. To the college ranks, as I mentioned, national championship was last night, and it ended up with Michigan finishing it off and winning the national championship, beating UConn in the game by a final score of, I believe, 69-63 was our final score. In what was quite possibly the worst offensive game that I've seen in a national championship since UConn and Butler back in, I think, what was that, 2013, 2014, something like that. I think the final score was literally 51-43 or something like that. It was bad.
2011, 53-41.
This had shades. The beginning of the second half, I think that each team went 4 straight possessions back and forth, not making a basket or turning the ball over. And it got to like the 15-minute mark, and I'm like, this has better get good here soon because this is ugly basketball that's happening right now. Each team had their own cold streaks from three. I believe Michigan started off 0 for 8 from three, and then UConn in the second half missed like 10 straight three-pointers before the end where they made a couple. Ugly game, which is exactly what Dan Hurley wanted to do and what he said during the game needed to happen for them to win the game. I love the transparency from Dan Hurley. I believe it was in the first half, and he was talking about the game, and Tracy Wilson, she's like, you're really making this ugly and yada yada, like what's the plan to keep this up? And he's like, we're making this game the only style that I think we have to have a chance to win this. Paraphrasing there, but he was very cognizant. It was like, if we're gonna beat this team, we need to make it like this. So I appreciated that bit of transparency from Dan Hurley in the moment, and they made it ugly, but they weren't able to stop Michigan, as they were able to get into the paint a lot more, drive a lot more, get more foul calls. Cadeau, no one could stay in front of him, as he was the leading scorer for Michigan. Really turned it on in that second half. But yeah, I mean, really, it was an ugly game at some points, Casey, where I was just like, my God, can we just get someone making a shot, please?
Well, yeah, when Yaxel was tossing up a lot of threes and everything was just falling short, that was just a stretch where I was like, I don't know how UConn is not putting the foot on the gas, just because Michigan, I think, went 3 straight possessions chucking up threes and not making or even hitting rim on a single one of them.
Dude, I'm telling you, there was a good stretch at the beginning of the second half where I damn near turned the game off, because I was like, until we start seeing some competent basketball here, it looked like those moments in youth games where kids are dribbling the ball way too high, and so then they dribble it over their head, and then it goes to a kid on the other team, and they're just dribbling it super high, and it just keeps bouncing all over the place. They'd miss terribly, to ricochet 15 feet back. It was just a mess at some points in that game. But it all ended with a UConn loss, which makes me a very happy Pitt Panthers fan.
The Buzz.
Masters tee times have been announced for the golfers out there that want to watch the Masters. We got some pairings. Run through these real quick. Bryson DeChambeau, who apparently is making his own clubs, is I don't know if he's going to debut these clubs at the Masters, but in his press conference, he said that he is making his own irons, his own driver, like not branded, I guess. Like he's just in the lab creating, which is the most Bryson DeChambeau move of all time. All these golf companies don't know how to make the right clubs, but I do. I can make it happen. Bryson, he tees off at 7:07 with Matt Fitzpatrick, Xander Schauffele. 7:19, Hideki Matsuyama, former Masters winner, Colin Morikawa, and Russell Henley at 7:19. You'll get Rory McIlroy, Cameron Young at 7:31. They're playing with some amateur. And I don't mean that disparagingly. I just don't know the kid's name. He's an amateur. Brooks Koepka, Jordan Spieth, Justin Rose at 10:20. Your boy, Justin Rose, at 10:20. And then Scotty Scheffler at 10:44. He will be paired with Gary Woodland, who just won, actually, last week at the Valero Texas Open.
The Buzz.
Speaking of Texas, Victor Wembanyama last night, he left in the second quarter of the Spurs game versus the 76ers last night after some contact with Paul George. The more important aspect is the playoff health. What does this rib injury look like? He does need to play at least 20 minutes in one of San Antonio's remaining 3 games to maintain eligibility for postseason awards.
And how many minutes did he play last night?
I don't think he got 20 because the injury happened in the second quarter.
So
I think
will he have
early.
to play 24 minutes?
It's just
okay.
It's just 20 minutes per each game. It doesn't like roll over or anything like that. No. So he just needs to play 20 minutes in one game in order to qualify for any of the postseason or regular season awards. One of those being Defensive Player of the Year, which he will win if he does qualify for it. But he's got to play in one of these games at least 20 minutes, and he plays the Trailblazers. They play the Trailblazers next tomorrow night at 6:30 in San Antonio. Spurs sitting at 60-19. But again, the bigger concern is what this rib injury looks like and if it's going to affect his playoff availability at all, which would suck after what's happened with the Lakers. I mean, it's one of those moments with the Lakers where, like, gosh, boy, I feel bad for the Lakers with all these injuries. Oh, gosh, what will they do? But if you're starting the Western Conference and you don't have a Luka and you don't have a Wemby for these playoffs, that definitely does kind of suck as far as the product goes. So hopefully that Wemby gets back in time. And the last one.
The Buzz.
North Carolina, the news broke yesterday that they have their new head coach and Mike Malone, former Denver Nugget head coach. And I did confirm his daughter is indeed a volleyball player on North Carolina. So I think that might have helped a little bit as far as this decision goes. But the contract details are out. He will get a yearly average of more than $8.3 million across a 6-year contract, putting him among the top 5 highest paid coaches in the sport. I know Mike Malone's a good coach, but damn, getting top 5 money right away before you've even coached a game in college must be nice.
Must be nice.
I'm very curious to see how this works out. And from the article and what we all know and have seen over the last years is with the college game becoming more and more professional, the NBA coach going to college, the NFL coach going to college. I mean, these teams have GMs now. This is not, I don't think it's one of those where like, oh gosh, can an NBA coach go to college and have success? I think in today's day and age, yeah, I think you can. You got to manage personalities just like you do on an NBA roster, but now with NIL and players getting paid, they're kind of feeling themselves like a professional player. And I think Mike Malone does a tremendous job at getting buy-in from everybody on the team. And I think that's what he's going to do a good job at North Carolina. Is kind of keeping these young bucks in check a little bit, but also getting them all to buy in to the focus, the culture, everything that comes with a Mike Malone tenure.
So you're all for the Mike Malone?
Hell yeah, dude. I love
all
Mike
right.
Malone. I loved him in Denver. I think that it's more so the professional ranks, the accountability, the holding feet to the fire. I understand that's extremely hard to do with grown men that are millionaires. But I felt like he did a tremendous job at that in the NBA. And I personally think him getting fired was a little, overbearing. I didn't think that was necessary, especially with the success the Nuggets have had. And so, yeah, I think that his shtick, for lack of better words, I think it'll work fine in college because I think that he does a great job of rallying the troops, essentially, and having them play for the one cause and kind of putting egos to the side. I thought he did a tremendous job of that in Denver. So that does it for the Daily Buzz. But let's go over to the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk and see what we missed, Casey.
First on the fan, the Portland Trailblazers expressed their strong support for country artist Ella Langley in a newly social media post where Denny Advia and Drew Holiday were signing basketballs and just talking about what songs that they listened to during pregame. Well, they said
Choosing
they've got
Texas.
a lot of love for choosing Texas. How do you feel about Ella Langley?
I like her bangs. Bangs are a tough thing to pull off in 2026. If you are consciously choosing to have bangs as a woman in 2026, as a bold move, and you better be able to pull it off. And Ella Langley, she's banging. She's banging all right.
We are definitely in the crowd of Ella's fellas over here.
Ella's fellas. I'll join Ella's fellas. I'm with it.
All right. Well, for more sports scores and stories in 30 minutes, I'm Casey Smith from the George McCoy at Warren Allen Sports Desk. Hurt and missing work? Insurance companies acting like jerks? Don't call your mom. Call George McCoy at WarrenAllen.com.
The home of the firm of Harris and
it's my practice dog, sorry.
10-8 Portland. Obvia. Kamara for three. Had a hand in his face and he knocks it in. Oh, and Klingon with the rebound. Kamara's had the hot hand and try it again. That's good. Toumani Kamara tearing up the Nuggets here early.
That was from yesterday's Blazers versus Nuggets game, as Toumani Kamara shot 8 3-pointers and posted 30 points in the game. How do we feel about Toumani developing as a shooter?
Dude, it's been awesome. Like the last 11 games, he's had some single-digit scoring nights, but, I mean, just the last 10, he's averaging 18.5 points on 55% shooting and 51% from three-point land. His season averages 13.4 points and shooting 37% from three. So, I mean, he's outshooting his three-point percentage on the season by 14 points right now, or 14 percentage points right now. Dude, it's awesome. It's happening later in the season than I'm sure some people wanted, but coming into this year, that was a big question as far as Toumani Kamara knew the defensive game was there. Can the offensive game start to flourish? And again, the last couple weeks, we have seen really good offensive performances out of him. I want to try and find, I mean, he had 30 last night on 8 of 13 from three. He had 23 against New Orleans on 6 of 12. Back on the 23rd against Brooklyn, he went 9 of 11 from three. 35 points there.
Yeah, that was his career high.
On Sunday, last Sunday against the Wizards, he went 4 of 9 from three for 23. So you go and look at his game, you can see this stretch over the last 11 has been some of his best offensive basketball of the year. And yeah, these last couple games has just been in fuego from three.
And again, the defense is going to be there. He's an elite defender, especially from the perimeter. Like, his spacing is probably I'd say the best in the league as perimeter defending. Seeing the offense come together is really important.
100%. I mean, and not just him coming into the season, but the team coming into the season. What was the one thing? Well, I don't know who's going to be shooting for him or making threes. Who's going to be the shooter for him? Well, he's starting to do it here late in the season, and it's a breath of fresh air in his game.
Smith on the drive to the rim, missed the layup, rebound loose, scooped up by Gale. He'll throw it to the other end of the floor. Caravan tracks it down with 2 seconds. With one, he throws it to half court. And since 1989, there's been a blank space in the Michigan Trophy case. Well, write their name, Michigan, the 2026 Men's Basketball National Champions.
That was the final call from Kevin Kugler on Westwood 1 as Michigan wins the national championship. We talked about it a little bit during the break. How happy were we to see UConn not win that?
Dude, thank God. I mean, I have been watching college basketball since I don't know what year it was. I mean, I'm younger than some of the listeners out there. I didn't start paying attention maybe until 2003. 2004 is when I really started to lock in because I chose a team. I wanted a rooting interest in college basketball, and I went with Pitt Panthers, baby. I've been riding with them for 20-plus years now, and they played UConn all the time in the Big East.
Panther, no Panther, I'm going swimming.
Dude, it was just epic Big East battles all the time, and I've had to live through a lot of UConn victories, a lot of UConn national championships when Pitt was a part of the Big East and after they left the Big East. So seeing UConn finally lose a national championship game, that was nice. That was nice.
6 national championships, 5 in my lifetime, 99, 2004, 2011, 2014, 2023, 2024.
Yeah. No, it was, yeah, I was rooting for the demise of UConn on that one. I was extremely nervous towards the end of that game that things were going to start bouncing in their direction and we were going to have another Duke ending on our hands there.
After that banked three-pointer in that they took the review to make sure that his feet weren't on the line,
yeah,
I got a little worried.
Yeah,
the pucker factor went up.
And then there was one sequence there with about a minute and a half left where UConn forced a turnover very similar to the Duke turnover, scrambled down the court to try and get a layup where they ended up Duke tried to save the ball from out of bounds and fired it back to a UConn player, bounced off a Michigan player, And then Michigan just had a free run down the court to a wide open 3-pointer. And I think it made it a 9-point game at that point. And then from there, I'm like, okay, we're done here. The UConn voodoo magic is not at play anymore. So Michigan, though, they end up winning national championship. Is Michigan a blue blood? They've been to like 4 national championships in the last like 15 years, finally winning this one. I know I say it about Arizona, and I say that they're not a blue blood. Michigan now has one more national championship, I believe, than Arizona. They've been to a lot more national championship games over the last 10, 15 years. Is Michigan a blue blood?
They do only have 2 national championships in program history,
I believe so.
but they do have a lot of Final Four appearances.
Oh, dude, if you look at the last, they've been to like, I think this is their 4th national championship appearance in the last 15, 20 years or something like that.
Is Michigan State a blue blood?
I feel like blue blood material, you got to have multiple.
It's starting to lesser its who's making the list.
Yeah, I feel like you got to have at least 2 national championships within like a 30-year run here to order to be in there. And that's pushing it right there.
I think 2 within 20 is about where you need to be.
2 within 20?
Yeah, 1 every 10 years.
Yeah. That's respectable. That's respectable. I mean, Michigan, again, maybe I'm talking out of turn, but I want to see if that's the case, because I swear Michigan, they have been 3 times in the last however many years. So they were there in 2013, which is when they lost to Louisville. They were there in 2018, in which they lost to Villanova. And I think, am I missing one?
That was the DiVincenzo shot?
Yes. Okay, so 2. They have been to 2, technically 3 now with this one last night. They have been to 3 national championship games since the year 2013. Michigan has.
Trey Burke, Jordan Poole, and who's on that third team? I guess that second team, because I'm missing the in-between.
Yeah, that 2013 would be Trent Burke.
Trey Burke.
Trey Burke, excuse me, yes. That would be the 2013 team. I'm pretty sure on that one. 2018,
that'd be Poole, because that's when the hairdo was the craze.
The broccoli haircut.
The broccoli cut.
Yeah, so Michigan blue blood. But they get the job done last night. So
if they go back next year, I think you have to get
put
them
them
in the conversation.
And also, how about my nickname for the starting 5? Not the Fab 5, the Grab 5. Because Michigan just had to grab 5 dudes, apparently.
The Grab 5.
The Grab 5. That's what I came up with during the firm with Harrison Meringue.
The text line said the Bag 5. I like the Grab 5.
The Grab 5. Just grab 5. Grab 5 dudes, throw them on the court, win a national championship.
No balls and 1 strike. Here's a drive out to right from Raleigh. Adele's back near the wall. He leaps, and he caught it! Joe Adele robs Raleigh of what would have been his first home run this year. There's a drive to right. Adele is back. He's at the wall. He leaps up. He got another one! Joe Adele, what a night! Here's Crawford with a fly ball to right toward the corner. It's Joe Adele again near the foul pole. Leaping up! Did he catch it again? He fell into the crowd, so it's a home run. They called him out. He did it again.
Seattle is challenging the decision of the catch.
Joe Adele, who has already robbed 2 home runs tonight, could very well have the hat trick. And this was the most sprawling of all of them.
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. It is a catch.
Joe Adele with his 3rd home run robbery tonight. I've never seen anything like it.
That was Los Angeles Angels outfielder Joe Adele becoming the first player in Major League Baseball history to rob 3 home runs in a single game. And, of course, he did it against Luke's own Seattle Mariners. How great of a defensive performance was that night?
It was amazing. Again, I said yesterday, it's like after the first one, you're like, damn, dude, you got 2 in 1 game. Okay, all right, lucky night. That 3rd one is just absolutely backbreaking. Flipping over the wall in the 9th inning. You kidding me? That is just an absolute demoralizing night from Joe Adele for the Mariners. But, hey, Cal Raleigh did hit a home run last night.
And it sounded just like this.
Out to right field. Really blasted back. Cal Raleigh finds his first. And it was tagged. A 12-pitch at bat. And it ends with a haymaker from Cal Raleigh. 1-0 Mariners right out of the gates.
That was Cal Raleigh's home run versus the Texas Rangers yesterday night. But the Mariners ended up losing that game 2-1. And I'm looking at these Mariners stats right now. Should Mariners fans be worried, or is it still too early?
Definitely still too early. I've actually been very emotionally responsible this year with my Orioles and how we have started. So I'm going to say still early. All right. Settle it down. But hitters 2 through 4, Julio, Cal Raleigh, Josh Naylor. I think it might be time for you guys to start hitting the ball a little bit more, because at this moment in time, I'm going to do some quick math on here. They have had 127 at-bats so far this season, all right? 127 at-bats. They have 17 hits. 17 hits across 127 at-bats for Josh Naylor, Julio Rodriguez, and Cal Raleigh. That is good for an average of 133 to start the year. They also have a combined 1 home run between those 3 players. I love also in this how everybody's just, oh, well, Julio, he's just a slow starter. It's just.
Well, 3 of those home runs got robbed.
That's true.
But still, the fact that the base of their lineup, the energy that they got from them last year is what carried them so long through the postseason last year. They're struggling this year. And it's kind of tough to see right now.
2 through 4, man, those are your power hitters. 5 is like that as well, but I mean, you cannot be hitting 133 with your 2 through 4 hitters. If there's one thing that drives me nuts as a sports fan, it's when your best bats do not show up, especially in high important situations like playoff baseball. It's like, oh God, their offense is so good. How did they only get 3 hits today and not score any runs? Drives me absolutely nuts. So me, as much of a Seattle Mariner hater as I am, Josh Naylor, Julio Rodriguez, and Cal Raleigh, please step it up. All right. I can't go through another season of Mariners fans bitching and moaning about their offense again. All right. Please. And quit giving Julio a pass. Oh, he's just a slow starter. All right. How about he doesn't be a slow starter
in
for once?
the dirt?
How about he doesn't start slow? Last year it was like, oh, we're gonna have him play a lot more spring training, so that way when the season starts, he's already running and going and he's good. Didn't work last season. It's not working this year. All right. So can we, Julio? How about we start fast next year? Let's give that a try. All right. That will do it for Play-by-Play Back, and we will wrap up the program next here on the Fan Sports Network.
The Fan.
Last segment here, closing out happy hour on your Tuesday. If you weren't able to listen to the entire hour, or you're not listening right now, Fan Happy Hour podcast page is up. Go to 1051thefan.com, Odyssey.com, Odyssey app, or wherever you get your podcast. Anything from text, toy, or YouTube chats, Casey?
Luke is on a beach in Zihuatanejo.
Oh, he's a little Shawshank action, huh? Did he crawl through the poop tunnel as well to get there?
And then another one that says Luke is waiting for his friend Red in Mexico after escaping the Shawshank prison.
So Luke is essentially just reliving the Shawshank Redemption. He is Andy Dufresne right now. He's on some sort of Shawshank like reenactment vacation. You know how you can go to like Civil War reenactments?
It's better than him being Shutter Island.
Or Senegal Island, rather. All right. Well, how about we do... And Casey, I will just have to ask you, do you have an irrational sports fandom? Because I'm watching my Orioles play the White Sox right now. And as long as Adley Rutschman is in an Orioles uniform, I will support anything that franchise does. I don't care. As long as that dude, as a Sherwood High School grad and a Baltimore Orioles fan, as long as Rutschman's in a jersey, they can do whatever they want, and I'll be happy. You have that with Mello. You have that with Mello, don't you?
Of course I do. Anything that guy does.
I was going to say, you strike me as a Mello guy. I've known a couple Mello guys in my life. You fit the bill there. All right. That'll do it for us on this Tuesday edition of the Happy Hour. Luke will be back next week, but he got me for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thank you, Casey Smith, as always. Thank you, all you wonderful listeners. And again, for some reason, we have to do this. We have to thank Isaac Gropp. But we will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.